All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 12. That is right, week number 12 will be your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and we are going to do a very quick state of the course update today, and then we are going to talk about some occupational resources. Ooh, I gotta fix my color. There used to be a song about popping your collar. Okay, that just looks awful. I'll fix that in a minute. Okay, so yes, we're going to talk about some occupational resources, some resources that can be used in order to help people when they're doing vocational research. This is good for public libraries. It's also good for college uh, early college students, freshmen, even more so than college freshmen. I would say more so community college students, and then also your K-12 groups, your middle and high school students as well. So this is yet another list of resources slash databases that we're gonna just kind of preview. That is, it's got definitely the public library relevance, and then also has those other relevances. So things that aren't just relevant to the public library or just to the academic library or that sort of thing. Because again, with these videos, I'm trying to stay away from things that are mostly academic library database orientation, because you get plenty of that with the semester long project and also with the unassignment that you did earlier in the semester. So I'm trying to supplement for my public library folks, because you all are very, very important. I would even say more important than academic librarians, and I was an academic librarian. So there you go. I was a public librarian for a little while too. But anyway, all that beside the point. Let's go ahead and get into that state of the course update. Pause. All right, so that color is looking a little better now. Okay, let's go ahead and make me small here, and let's go ahead and also move me. So I don't know why it's not showing up over here, folks. I really don't know on your to-do list, but yes, please be aware that your LibGuide is due this coming weekend. So where are ya? Yes, April the 19th, your LibGuide is there. I've gotten a few questions of late about different source types that people were looking for, and some other questions related to the LibGuide. Yes, I expect those to be kind of pouring in as we get closer and closer to the due date, which again is the 19th, which is this coming Sunday. So yes, I'll try to respond to those questions as soon as I can. I've been able to stay on top of the questions. Actually, a lot of questions have poured in between the two sections, but I've been able to stay on top of those questions and get those answered. And yeah, so I will continue to keep doing that, because again, I know that the LibGuide assignment can be pretty intimidating, and it's a big deal for a lot of you all. But again, just try to have fun with it. I hope you pick the topic that you're having fun with. First of all, I hope you've already started, because if you haven't, unless you've done LibGuides before, this isn't something that you should try to do in one weekend. You had a month to do that for a reason. So I hope you all took advantage of that time. But aside from that, yes, just go ahead and message me if you need any assistance. And yeah, it's gonna be okay, folks. But again, please don't. And I've said this before in a previous check-in video, but I'm gonna reiterate now. Please do not password protect the LibGuide until after it has been graded. I don't know why students do that sometimes. They just password protect it, and then I have to track them down. It slows down my grading, which is already slow enough. Let's be honest. I try to grade as fast as I can, but with everything else I've got going on, it is what it is. But yeah, don't password protect them, because that slows down the grading even further. And I just don't understand the logic. I can't see it if it's password protected. So, if you want to grade, don't password protect it. But yes, I am looking forward to seeing the work that you all come up with. And yeah, it's going to be okay. I know that some of you are kind of, again, nervous about that LibGuide assignment. Trust me, I have been teaching for a while now. People get through it, okay? People get through it. And in next week's check-in video, I'm going to tell you a few things about the LibGuide assignment, about the rubric, but I can't tell you until after you turn it in, okay? So just, plug away, and it's going to be okay. And aside from that, yes, keep working on those semester-long projects as well. Really, the good thing is once you turn in the LibGuide, then it's kind of smooth sailing, because I know this course kind of stresses some people out. Required courses can do that, but it's kind of smooth sailing once you turn in that LibGuide. From then on, you just have one discussion board post to do that's going to be due in May, and then you also have the semester long project, which is due on May the 8th. This will be the first weekend in May. So you are going to be in the home stretch once you turn that LibGuide in. So plug away at it, and then just kind of take a breather and realize, oh, hey, the hard part is over. Now it's smooth sailing. Now Dr. Jace has me set up to where I can just kind of enjoy the class from here on out. And I hope you've enjoyed the class anyway, but it's kind of harder to it's harder to make the required classes enjoyable than it is the electives that I teach, but I still try to make this as enjoyable as possible, okay? So yeah, I mean, again, you're on the home stretch. You all, it's going to be okay. I know that things are very stressful outside of this class, with the world, with the economy, with the job market, with things all over, everything, okay? I get it. I don't want you all to stress about this course, okay? It's going to be all right. All right, that is it for the state of the course update. Let's go ahead and look at those resources I was talking about. Give me one moment. And of course, my collar is doing it again. Okay. All right, let's get into those educational resources, shall we? All right, let's make me small and let's switch browsers here. And so I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about Gale's careers database, which is going to be using the Mid-Continent Public Library interface right now, but most public libraries are going to have the stuff that I'm talking about. Some academic libraries are going to have it, and then quite a few K-12 libraries are going to have it, but these are generally things that you find in public libraries in abundance. So the three things that I'm going to be reviewing, well, one of them is over the web free, so of course all libraries are going to have that, but I'm going to talk about Gale Vocations and Careers, which again, you'll mainly find at public libraries, but again, some academic and K-12 libraries have that as well. And then Ferguson's Career Guidance Center. This tends to be more strongly held at public libraries, but you'll find it at various academic and K-12 libraries as well. And then I'm also going to talk about the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, which is free over the web. It's actually a government source, but it's also very useful for people who are looking for vocational guidance and that sort of thing, and has a lot of similarities to Ferguson's actually. So let's go ahead and start with Gale here. And all right, let's see. I'll pause this if it takes too long to log me in. Oh. All right, so here's Gale, and I am going to do a very superficial sort of introduction to this. So if you want to get into some of those deeper features, again, look for some tutorials on your own, and those tutorials will help you do some of the other features. But quite frankly, when I was using Gale Vocations and Careers, I didn't need to use the deeper features, so that's why I'm not even going to go over them right now. But yes, technically they do have the subject guide search and the publication search and the topic finder, which these are, again, search tools that are more advanced, and if you want to, you can, again, learn how to use these, and they go deeper, especially with topic finder. They go deeper in trying to find like different types of adjacent information and things like that. But really, for every time, and I do mean every time, 100% of the time that I used this database, the advanced search itself was good enough to get me to where I needed to be. So I didn't really use these search tools. So if you want to, again, I'm not going to waste time, well, not waste time, but I'm not going to spend time in the check-in video dealing with those. But if you want to learn how to use those, then by all means, find a tutorial and do so. So what this database is good for is when you have students who come in and they have to like write essays about the careers that they're interested in, which again, you'll see that at the middle school and high school level. You'll see that at the community college level and the college freshman level sometimes. And so public libraries will entertain the people who are coming in from middle and high school. K-12, of course, that's what they do. And then community college librarians, you probably want to be familiar with this as well. So when somebody comes in and they need that type of information, you can come to this page. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and just even do the simple search, because even that suffices a lot of times with this database, because a lot of times people just need the information for that particular career. So for this database, when I'm kind of showing it off, I do like to do dental hygienist. So if somebody decided they wanted to be a dental hygienist, they could come in and put that in, and then it's just this simple. They put that in and they get this search here, and then they what you get is a source breakdown. So they are broken down by type. For dental hygienists, I've got about 2,000 magazines, about 3,000 academic journals, one book, and 500 news sources. Now, for these types of assignments, actually magazines do tend to be the most helpful things for a lot of the careers that people are looking up. They don't necessarily need, especially at the middle and high school level, they don't necessarily need academic journals because they don't need academic sources. But magazines do a good job of providing articles that go into some sort of depth about these types of careers that they may be searching for. News items can be good as well, but news items a lot of times just they're hit or miss because they could be anything. For instance, you can find a news item and somebody committed a crime and this person was employed as a dental hygienist, and it'll say this person who worked as a dental hygienist murdered such and such, and that would still pop up, but you wouldn't see anything like that in a magazine. So that's why magazines tend to be very, very good for this type of assignment, and they are sorted by relevance, but you can sort them newest first. Now this is where if I were to go to my advanced search, this is where this could be helpful, because a lot of times students are, let's see, here we go. A lot of times students are, when they're doing this type of assignment, they're actually limited by to articles that are like 5 years or 5 years old or less, or 7 years old or less, or 10 years old or less, or something like that. So, okay, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and spell that right. And so if I put this here, and then I'm actually probably going to leave it as a keyword because I'm not going to get an abundance of sources anyway. You never get into the tens of thousands of sources really with this particular database. So I'll leave that as a keyword. But if you wanted to, you could narrow it down to subject or title. Actually, okay, that's fine. All right, entire document is actually very helpful for this type of search as well. But then also, let's say from it's 2026. Let's say that you could only deal with things from 2020 to 2026. Okay, and you do that, and I'm not going to mess with these other things. I'm just going to hit search from there. And once you do that, now I have a very narrow source list. So I've only got 60 magazines, 664, academic journals, and then 16 news items. They can, at this point, I can leave this as relevance because I'm in that date range anyway. You'll see that date range there, 2020 to 2026. And so newest first doesn't really help me as much as it would have if I had the date range blank. This type of data, well, not this type of database, this particular database is going to default to full text, which is good. So you'll just find the full text right there in the database most of the time anyway. And so from there, what you can do is you can go through your results and try to find one. So let's say that, and first of all, there is also some good information right off the bat. So work, you got the date there, you know what publication it's from, a little bit of, I wouldn't necessarily really call this a abstract, but you've got a little bit of a preview there. And then you've got word count, which is very important, particularly when you're dealing with students who might be younger. If they're middle school students, you might not want to get them something that has like a 5,000 word count, but at the something that is like a brief article, like 103 words, sometimes those things just aren't helpful at all either. So you get a lot of good information right there on the results list. But let's say that, hey, this looks good and it's from something called Career Outlook, so it's pretty focused. Let's say this is what I want to get. So then I can just click this and I'll be taken right into the full text. You do have, for some of these, a PDF full text option, so I'm actually going to click back really quick so that you can see that. Oh, okay, yeah, I can't click. That's not what I meant to do, blah, blah. All right, so yeah, we'll come here. And so let's move me around here. So you have all of your little helpful tools here. You can cite, you can send to like email or Google Drive or something. You can download it right to your hard drive, print it out, get your link, that sort of thing. But here you get some further information. So you get, again, the Oh, well, actually, sometimes you will get Lexile numbers with this database, and I was hoping that would be the case, but I don't have that there. If I wanted to do, that's where my PDF option is. So if you have that PDF option, you can click PDF there, and then it will actually load the PDF right there. All right, got it. So yeah, it'll load the PDF right there. You can get that information, but you can also just come back over here and go to full text, okay? And so, therefore, from there, you can just scroll down and you'll have all the information you need right there. The full text, that is. So you'll have all of that. That does often include, when you have the full text, that does often include your graphs and everything. Now, this is where you really may want to use the PDF. I'm glad that in this example, this showed up here. As you can see, when it's HTML full text here, sometimes the images get a little funky. And as you can see, hopefully when I do, I'm going to see if it's still messed up with the PDF. And as you can see, it looks better. So the PDF full text, oh no, that's still messed up there. Oof, I hate that for them. But the graph is, you'll see these graphs are easier to read in the PDF than they are in the HTML. So that might be another reason to go ahead and pull the PDF and download the PDF, okay? And then you've got a sample citation and everything, but remember, your citations are only right about 10 of the time. So while that may sound good, that does mean that, again, if you have a paper that has 10 sources, if things are only right about 80% of the time, there's a good chance that 2 of them are formatted wrong. This one, however, is formatted correctly. Those of you who have been paying attention to my APA guidance would know that. So I'm glad, kudos there, but that's not going to be the case quite a bit of the time, okay? All right, and that's pretty much how this database works. And again, if you want to, you can go ahead and from there just kind of play around in this database a little more, access it through your public library, call up your public library to see if they have it, if you don't know. If they do, they'll tell you how to access it and everything, and just play around, learn the database, and go from there. Watch some tutorials on YouTube or wherever else, and that is also helpful. Okay, so from there, we will go into our second database. Give me one moment, I'm gonna pause. All right, so let's go ahead now and check out our second database, and that is going to be Ferguson's, and Ferguson's tends to be very, very useful. So we'll show you what Ferguson's can do. And again, this is one that, don't do that. This is one that you're going to have at your public libraries pretty regularly. K-12 and academic libraries hit or miss, but public libraries pretty regular database to have, okay? All right, so first of all, I am going to say that we are going to be focused out over here and explore careers. As far as finding a career, these things, as far as I've used them, they're pretty obsolete at this point. Job postings, you can get them through job searches and things like Monster, Indeed, that sort of thing. And the internships and apprenticeships, they aren't really updated as well as I feel they should be. So you can find better things in Google there as well, and things that are pretty reliable. As far as preparing for your career, I don't really use these either. These things can be helpful, but a lot of times you have other alternative sources these days. You can also just hit Mr. Google for really good cover letter guidance and really good resume guidance. So you don't necessarily need to lean in on this. And then as far as these things related to tips for networking, interviewing, and workplace skills, they can be helpful, but some of it is pretty commonsensical. So, these things are actually also kind of hit or miss. If you don't have networking skills or workplace skills, yeah, this might be something that you can look at, but yeah, it's never really been anything that I needed. And then as far as planning your education, again, just to be quite real with you, now financial aid, I need to revamp my skills in that, because I'm pretty sure that I'm hoping that they've done better in that arena since then. But as far as alternative and graduate education opportunities, you can explore that on your own, but it's not really as in-depth as I would like. As far as school search, you can find pretty much the same type of information, and it's pretty reliable a lot of times, either on the school's websites or in Wikipedia and that sort of thing. But the school search, if you ever need it, it's a tool that's available to you. But the things that I would really use Ferguson's for would be researching industries, browsing professions. If people wanted to take career assessments, there's a free career assessment. Actually, there used to be two. Let me make sure there are, like a 30 question and a 60 question. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so they still have that. And so the 60 question one is really, really good as far as, just assessing your aptitude and different things and where you want to be and what might be the best career arena for you to go into. And then find a career path. That's another thing that you can kind of go into, explore, and it'll give you some guidance on different ways to find different careers within certain educational paths and that sort of thing. All right, but let's go ahead and just go into we're going to focus on these two today: research industries and also the browse professions. So first of all, they do have the featured industries, and so the industries are going to be your big overarching things. So an industry might be, like, as you can see, like advertising, education would be one, engineering, healthcare, law, those sorts of things. So nursing is going to be along the lines of your healthcare and that sort of thing. But these are the featured ones. So if we go into all, that's when you will get a better breakdown here. And so then, yes, so like for instance, you've got healthcare, and then nursing is under healthcare, but then you've got other things under healthcare, such as like vet care, animal care, elder care, dental care, alternative healthcare, those sorts of things. We are going to go into nursing. And the good thing is, when you go in, that's when all of this information is actually it's broken down very easily. It's kept very prominently up to date, as you can see in 2023. That was just 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago even. You've got information already from there, so you've got the overview, and you can view the full article. But what I do prefer is to go by the table of contents. So when you go by the table of contents, it'll take you to the overview. You read the overview first, get some very good overview information about any particular industry that they have listed. Then you can go into the background information, and that'll give you some of the more what was historically the case and is leading up to today. Then you have the structure, and with that structure, a lot of times gives you information about just how strong the career is currently, what people are doing, what education and things that they need in order to get there, and that sort of thing. But the breakdown for that gets a lot better when you're doing professions as opposed to actual industries, because even within industries, you'll have individual professions that have individual educational requirements, but a lot of times also you'll get a lot of helpful numbers and that sort of thing within the structure. Then industry outlook is telling you how strong that industry is going to be looking toward the future, and we are definitely going to be paying close attention to industry outlook for the next few years as we look at how AI is going to continue to change the occupational landscape, which AI is we don't even know. We don't know right now exactly what these AI changes are going to lead to, but they are absolutely going to lead to changes, and it's nerve-wracking. It makes us nervous, but there are two things in life that are always going to be there, and those are change and change. And then if you want to learn more, a lot of times these are testimonials, and I see with this particular industry, is a lot of times they're either testimonials or biographies or that sort of thing. So with this, it's actually a biography, it looks like. Yeah. And then relevant resources and associations. Associations can be very good to reach out to so that you can learn more information about the career and or about the industry. And also a lot of times if you join these professional associations, then that gives you access to such things as scholarship opportunities and that sort of thing. So those are the reasons why you would look at associations a lot of times, especially for students, graduate students, if they're looking for associations. You can Google them too, but the associations that are listed here are going to be associations that are not caught up in a bunch of nonsense. They're not going to be scammy, scams and that sort of thing, because you do want to have legitimate associations that you are referring your patrons out to. And then now we are going to go into browse professions. And so you've got featured professions that you start out with. And one of the cool things about the professions is you get these helpful little videos as well. So these are like testimonial videos or guidance videos and that sort of thing. But this resource really, really shines in the browse professions. Okay, so you got the featured professions here. And if you wanted to, you could go through these. got so fastest growing jobs. This is good to know that the things that show up on featured professions, they will include like the fastest growing jobs. So you have those here. You also have the highest paying jobs. That's nice to know, but a lot of times also our highest paying jobs are also going to be things that are going to be kind of unattainable for a lot of people that are coming into the library, just to be quite honest. But don't count your library patrons out. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm just saying, though, that no, anesthesia is certainly not unattainable, and a lot of these other things not attainable, but not unattainable. But I mean, you're not going to have a whole lot of people who, especially come into the public library looking for career guidance, and they're likely to be radiologists or on that track. Now, you will have a kid every now and then that wants one of those that's in middle or high school, and they are on track to get one of those, land one of those types of careers. But it's kind of few and far between, if I'm being honest with you. Most in-demand jobs, this can be very, very helpful, especially when people are just looking for something. If they're in the public library and they are looking for something, where can I get some sort of job so that I can put a roof over my head, so that I can put food on my table, and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's so that's your featured professions. But if we go to all professions, that's where I'm actually going to choose something. If it has some sort of helpful video, you'll see this little video icon. And as you'll see, there's going to be a lot of professions. So these are our A's that we're looking at right now, but we can, and there's going to be a load more, so that wasn't all of them. But what I'm going to do, since we are in library school, I'm going to go to our L, and I am going to go to librarian. First of all, there are several different library jobs that they list as well. So you've got librarians, then you've got library science instructors, which is what I am, library assistants, library directors, and some of you will end up being library directors, whether you know it already or not. Some people never dream that they're going to be library directors, and they become library directors. So at least one of you watching this video right now is somebody who's saying, I will not be a library director, and then you're going to end up being one down the road. Library media specialists and library technicians. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and go to librarians. And what you get from here, again, you can view the full article, but I'm just going to go through the table of contents. So first of all, you get this helpful overview, and also you get the quick facts, and the quick facts are pretty awesome. So quick facts include things like median salary, your minimum education level. In most states, you do need the master's degree. There are only a few states where you don't need the master's degree. Some of them are places like Montana and Wyoming. But for the most part, you do need the master's degree to be a librarian. School subjects, this is a very limited list here. Actually, you can parlay any undergrad background pretty much into a successful librarian career. Alternative titles, there are a lot of them: catalogers, cataloging librarians, children's librarians, blah, 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 blah. You got a whole lot of that. We've got openness nationwide, environment primarily indoors. Employment prospects is very important to people. So when you have good employment prospects, good advancement prospects, that's something that a lot of people want to see. A lot of you are working as library assistants or library technicians right now, and you'll move up into those if you're not already there, which some of you are as well. But if you're not already in the librarian bracket right there, you're gonna move up there probably after you get this master's degree. And then also library director or information consultant, that's when you reach the top of the chain. Outlook, our growth is about as fast as the national average for different careers throughout the country. There aren't really special requirements. You do have certification, which a lot of times is just having the master's degree. However, if you're going to be a K-12 librarian, there's different additional certification that you need a lot of times. Also, you do have to have computer skills, and this will list the duties. So quick facts is very helpful. Then you can go to history. So this is your history of librarianship, going all the way back even to 3000 BC. So they really took it there. And you don't have to tab over here, by the way. So you can read the history, then you can go to the next thing, which is the job. This is a description vaguely of what librarians do. However, this is also very full, and it is also breaking down by different types of librarians. So that is really good and useful. Their earnings, what you can expect to make. This is also very helpful. People tend to want to know this. Librarians employed within the local government, they earn median salaries of $62,000 about. But please know that this varies by experiences, varies also by where you are. So cost of living factors into there. Work environment, you get a description of, how many hours a week you're going to work, whether you're indoors and outdoors and that sort of thing, and who you're going to be working with a lot of the times. So both patrons and coworkers and that sort of thing. About 20% of librarians are part-timers. Exploring this job can be all sorts of miscellaneous information, including, again, things about professional associations. The ALA is listed here. Education and training requirements. This is always very important. People want to know what do they have to do to get these jobs. So this will tell you about the master's degree that you need if you want to be a librarian. But then also you do have to, a lot of times, of course, have to have that before you even get there. You have to have that high school and post-secondary training and that sort of thing. Post-secondary training, in this case, usually being a bachelor's degree before you get the master's degree. Your master's degree a lot of times will come under so advanced degrees that are terminal degrees sometimes come under this, but as you see with may earn a required master's degree there. Okay, so that is there. For some professions it's there, for some it's not. We'll keep going. Experience, personality traits, and skills. These are things you have to know: empathy, patience, interpersonal skills, that sort of thing, tact, all of those things in order to be successful as a librarian. Very important as far as employment prospects. So people want to know that they're going to be jobs when they actually go into these things and try to find jobs. So yes, the employment prospects for librarianship are pretty good once you get a master's degree. Not everybody who gets a master's degree ends up in a position that requires a master's degree, unfortunately. But still, a lot of these people still do end up hired by libraries. And then also your advancement prospects. So how likely it is that you're not just going to stay at the entry level. That's your advancement there. And then outlook. Outlook is, again, looking pretty good for librarians as of right now. We're expected to grow as fast as the national average. A lot of times when people are just looking for various careers, you don't want to point them to things that are looking to have slow growth or no growth or even decline. And then you've got unions and associations that come into play here. Tips for entry, what you need to do, and then various learn more and other resources. Okay, so again, this is very, very helpful to learn a lot about various different professions. And so again, sometimes you have students, but then also sometimes you have people who are just like re-entering the workforce. They got laid off or something like that. They're re-entering the job search and they're trying to figure out, okay, now I'm going to my second career or my third career, and what do I need to do in order to find a second or third career? And this is a place that you want to take them. But also, if you don't have access to Ferguson's, then another thing that's going to be helpful is the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. So that is what we're going to do now. We're probably going to spend another 5 to 7 minutes on that, and then we're going to close. All right, so pause, and I'll pull that up. All right, so we're not going to go over all of the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. It is huge. It has a lot of information. So if you want to actually learn the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, actually that would probably be almost a full 8-week course in and of itself, to be honest with you. It really would. We're not going to do that. So that's something that you're going to have to learn to do on your own. But what we are going to do, in keeping with the theme of what we're doing today, which is, again, careers and career guidance, we are going to go here. And this is where, even if you don't have access to Ferguson's, a lot of that same information that you can get on Ferguson's, you can also get here from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And the way you would get to it is to come here to Publications, and then you would go to the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And the Occupational Outlook Handbook, prior to the internet, or prior to where things are today with the World Wide Web, the Occupational Outlook Handbook was really one of those go-to reference sources back in the day. I'm talking about back in the 90s and 80s and 70s, to really get some information on different careers and career outlooks and that sort of thing. So times have changed. Times are always going to change, and libraries are going to be affected by times changing. But we seem to adapt just as well as anybody to times changing. But as you can see, there is a lot of other stuff. There are like resources on this page for students at the K-12 level. There are economic releases. There are data tools, various data tools, including things that can tell you about, post and pre-COVID landscapes and that sort of thing, industries and stuff like that at a glance. So you can get a lot of figures and everything. If you're looking for just numerical data, industry at a glance and that sort of thing, you can get a lot of information there. restricted data access. Subjects also, so if you're looking for different things about consumer price indexes and all of that stuff, reports of local, state, and federal employment, you have it all here. Okay, there is a lot. Again, this learning this BLS.gov website would take a whole 8-week course to do, and quite frankly, because I haven't used a lot of this stuff in years, I don't keep up with it as well, and I would need a refresher myself. But I don't need a refresher on the Occupational Outlook Handbook, and Career Outlook kind of goes hand in hand with that, but we won't look at both. We only need to look at one of them. So if we go to the Occupational Outlook Handbook, what we are brought is here. And you can, just like in Ferguson's, you can browse professions. You're going to see this is very similar to what we just saw in Ferguson's. Now, first of all, you can go to your occupation groups. So I think that libraries are generally in it says libraries, so there you go. Education, training, and library. But you can again, you'll have your various big timers, like within healthcare, you're going to have nursing and dental hygiene and that sort of thing. Within military, you're going to have all your branches of the military. I think that also there's, okay, protective service. I think that this is where, I'm just going to go into that because I think this is where you have like policing and that sort of thing. Yeah. So public safety and that sort of thing you find there. Anyway, but we are going to go ahead and just find a particular, you can also search, and this is very nifty. So you can search occupations by 2024 median pay. You get pay brackets there, or entry-level education. That can actually be, yeah, I'm going to go into that just real quick, and then I'll come back out to this main menu and go into that index. But then also on the job training, a lot of times, and librarianship would be considered on the job training a lot of times. But if you need apprenticeships or residencies, then for residency, you'll find a lot of like medical doctors, things like that. Their apprenticeships you will find for things like, my cousin worked on a shipyard out in Norfolk, Virginia, and he had an apprenticeship with that. Number of new jobs projected. You definitely want to stay away from the declining. So if you have people who are looking for career changes, but this is very, very low. And a lot of times what you're trying to do is, if people are just trying to find something, you want to get them into one of these arenas that's looking more healthy, either with number of new jobs projected, at least 10,000, or the growth rate, something that is at least as fast as average. Okay. Let's go into things that are, let's say that you have somebody who just has a high school diploma and they need a job, because this happens in the public library all the time. So high school diploma or equivalent, and we're just going to go from there. And you can get a listing, and they're going to be, it's not going to be too much it's not going to overwhelm you. So we've got 326 entries here, and we can even go to 100 there. So you have these, and they're going to be in they're going to default into alphabetical order. However, you can change them. No, you're not going to change them into entry level, because that's what we did our search. That was one of our search criteria. But you can do the on the job training or the projection or growth rate. Let's say that we want to actually go a little further. We just want to hit at least as fast as average. Okay. Now we're down to 66 things, and let's say we just scroll through these. We don't really, we'll sort them alphabetically, so we'll leave them the way that they are. And let's say you just have somebody and they've got to figure out something to do, and then they come in here and they're like, you know what, I could do that. I could be a real estate broker. So then you could come here, and then you just get similar information to what we saw in Ferguson. So you get a summary, and with the summary, you get a lot of this helpful information, including about how many jobs there were nationally in 2024, in this case for real estate brokers and sales agents. That actually surprises me. So, yeah, okay, well, that does surprise me. But yeah, number of jobs out there. Outlook is growing as fast as average, as we see there. How to become one. This is a big deal. People always want to know how to actually get these jobs once they find something that they like. But then you just tab from here, what they do, and then you go on to the next thing, either here on the tabs or here you can tab to the next thing, which is the work environment and that sort of thing. And again, how to become one is always the big deal, and you get the good information there. You learn the education you're going to need, the licensing, the work experience, the training, and important qualities and skills that you need to have. And then going on to pay, which with real estate broking, I think the pay really does depend a lot on, just how successful you are at doing it and how much time you commit to doing it. Job outlook. So make sure, a lot of times, again, when you're working with these patrons, make sure you have something that has a pretty good outlook. Definitely stay away from things that are on decline. And then you can get localized data. So you can get projections with state and local data a lot of times. There are map tools and the data tools, but again, I don't even remember exactly how to access that because I've never really needed to use it. But it's something that you can probably watch a tutorial and get that information. And then similar occupations. So if somebody can't really, like, let's say somebody does try to do the training and that sort of thing, they become a real estate broker or a sales agent, but they don't quite make it. These are some other things that they can look at: loan officers, retail sales workers, and things like that. So those skills would be transferable a lot of times to these other occupations. But again, watch for the needed educational requirements there, and then you can see pay comparisons and that sort of thing. All right. And so, yeah, that's it. We're going to go ahead and leave it there, especially since we're at 42 minutes. I am Dr. Jace, and these jobs are something that people do chase. Jace Chase, got my rhyme. I can go ahead and call it quits from there, and I will see you all next week with the next check-in video. Take care until then, and looking forward to those live guys. Ta-ta.